Hello and welcome back to Tab Tuesday. I'm Angie Ellsworth with Time Out Behavior Coaching in Rochester, Minnesota. And we have started a series on conversation and communication. Last time, if you didn't check it out, go back and just listen in to the first idea that we shared about having a conversation and what approach we use. We introduced the acronym THINK. So is what we're saying true, helpful, inspiring, necessary, and kind? We're kind of building on that now that we kind of have a baseline foundation for how we want to have conversations with those around us and those we love. And the best way to do that is to start rebuilding connection through just having conversation. It's often something that I hear families talking about a lot is that we don't have time to communicate anymore. The kids are always on their screens or on their phones, or I'm too busy and we never have time to talk. So today I'm going to share a couple of resources with you that I think would be very valuable and helpful. And thinking about having a conversation with your kids or your family or your spouse shouldn't be something that seems draining or just something extra. Think about sometimes where you are naturally kind of captive. You have a captive audience with your family, right? Perhaps it's meal times where you're sitting down together. Maybe it's breakfast, where you just have everybody together before everyone leaves the house and is out the door. Maybe it's in the car when you're driving to grandma's house, or you're on your way even to the store, and you have 5 to 10 minutes in the car where you are just together with nothing, with nothing really to talk about, and you're kind of wondering, well, how can I make the most of these times, these moments together to build relationship and connection? One of the tools I love the most are what I kind of call conversation cards, or just any kind of a guide that gives you a direction for questions. There's several resources online. I'll link one or two of my favorites below. But if you Google in family conversation cards or 100 questions to build relationships with your kids, I actually happen to have one on my phone that my husband and I use when we are traveling, and it's just the two of us. And I'm like, oh my gosh, not another podcast, not another book on tape. How can we really have have communication and just talk about some things? And I use something called card decks from the Gottman Institute, which the Gottman Institute is one of the world leaders on communication and relationships. So this is one for spouses and couples if you want to check that out. But also some of the things that you can use these cards for, and they're really intended for you to just talk and get to know about the person you're talking to, get to know some of the things about them that make them special and unique that maybe you wouldn't have really known before. One of the ones I like to use with my families is just something from a website called Childhood 101. I just Googled it. It's a blog that a mom writes, and it just has a really free, fun printable on it with little cards that you could print off and laminate and keep in your car, and pull them out of the glove box and have your child just pull out a card and read one, right? There's some other lists that are out there that just are really easy. I like to have kids, maybe they'll shake a dice or something and say, okay, well, here, I'm going to do this one. Or they close their eyes on a list of topics and they just point to one, and then we ask and answer that question. So anything like that, like trivia, would you rather questions, things like that give kids really an opportunity to just talk and be silly and be creative. And you're having a conversation that is intended to connect you, to learn about each other, to share, and to really understand people's perspectives and ideas. Lots of these, the one that I'm going to share in the below, each card has one question. Topics are related to individual choices and preferences, as well as questions about friends and family and school. They're good for all ages, from some may be more suited for older kids, but certainly many can be answered by preschoolers, and you can definitely make up some of your own questions as you go too. So the idea behind this is having a conversation, starting to build relationships that are low risk, that don't take a lot of time and effort and energy, and that are just fun. There's no expectation on who answers or who doesn't. If you tend to have a kiddo who doesn't like to participate and doesn't get involved in family conversation, maybe this will be a way to kind of get them in. They're listening, they're kind of hearing, they might have an opinion to share. But then you go back to the ground rules of when you're having this conversation, is what people are saying true, helpful, inspiring, necessary, and kind? Those are some ground rules that people can say, hey, guess what? The conversation, now that wasn't kind, that wasn't helpful, that's not necessary. Let's stick to answering the question on the card, and you can see then how we continue to start establishing some expectations and some boundaries for respectful and responsible communication. Hope you like this tip. I hope that it's something that can help you and your family know better and do better when it comes to communicating and connecting with each other. We'll see you next time.